Well, it's been a week and a half and a lot of voodoo wizardry and God knows what has happened. Welcome back to the Wild Blueberries Roundtable and David Clarkson in a fourth round pick for Garrett Sparks. Nick, start us off.
All right, so today, the Toronto Maple Leafs had to take on the David Clarkson contract to get rid of Garrett Sparks. They also received a fourth-round pick in the deal. I still do not understand Kyle Dubas's plan. I just really don't.
I don't know, because basically, what were you saying? Because the real reason of this is a fourth round pick to get rid of David Clarkson while getting Garrett Sparks, who will get waived anyway, and freeing up a little bit of cap space. What'd you say? It was like trading Garrett Sparks in order to get David Clarkson back or something?
No, to me, Vegas wasn't going to take Garrett Sparks unless Toronto took the David Clarkson contract, and Toronto clearly wanted to get rid of Sparks. So to me, this trade is Toronto having to take on David Clarkson, who, granted, they're going to put on LTIR, but they had to take his contract back to get rid of Garrett Sparks, because we all know Garrett Sparks is not worth a fourth-round pick.
Fair enough. Renz, do you have your thoughts on this?
Nick basically said it. Why? That's my question. Just why? Like, I understand Vegas getting rid of Clarkson. Okay, that's fine. And Toronto, as much as you hate Maple Leafs fans hate Sparks, you're making that goaltending depth chart a little bit more thin, and I don't know. Cap dump for Vegas.
Talking about they have elite third goalie Kazimir Kaskisuo.
That is true. He is there.
Oh, at this point, it's elite third goalie Michael Neuwirth, who's on a PTO.
Don't make Andrew laugh again.
Michael Neuwirth isn't going to make it to the end of training camp.
All right, let's go Kazimir Kaskisuo then. Andrew, you have your thoughts?
It's kind of like, what are you doing, Dubas? You still don't have the cap space to sign Marner. I still have no idea where they're going to find the cap space to sign Marner. Like, is it going to come from a Nylander trade?
Or is the cap space never going to come and he's going to sit out until July 1st?
Because I don't see any way that Toronto can get $8 million in cap space. Because that's at least what Marner's going to get. Nylander will give you 7, and that'll give you about 6 in cap space because they're already $1 million over.
No, so they're $1 million over without putting Clarkson and Horton on LTIR.
That's true.
But if Marner was going to sign for 8, I think I've said this before. If Marner was going to sign for anything less than 10, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Mitch Marner would be signed.
That's probably true. Because Toronto would love to have him on 8.
It's not just Horton and Clarkson going on LTIR.
It's not. However, the two players that you're referring to, I believe it's Dermott and Hyman, correct?
That is correct.
They're going to come back during the season.
How far into
so
question mark?
But even though how far into the season is a question mark, it's still, when they need to come back, going to require Toronto to make moves. So I just don't understand why they haven't just taken the initiative, why Dubas hasn't taken the initiative to clear out as the cap space that he's going to need to, 1, sign Marner, 2, bring Dermott and Hyman back from LTIR when they come back. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, Dermott's on his ELC, so there's not that much money you need to clear for Dermott, but for Hyman, it's $2.25 million you need to clear.
Yeah.
See,
So there's more. It's more of an issue with Hyman than it is with Dermott.
why didn't they just non-tender CC when they traded Zaitsev for him? Which they should have done. They didn't do. That would have been 4.5. Why didn't they trade Janssen or let somebody offer sheet Janssen? That's 3.4. Bingo. There's your money.
There's your
Or
money
just
for
cut
Hunter.
CC, not even tender him. Cut CC. Nobody was going to give him anything substantial. No one was going to give him 4.5. That's for damn sure.
Very true.
I thought they were going to flip him, to be honest.
The fact that they didn't flip him is, what is Dubas's plan? Is he just really going to let Marner sit out for the season and then deal with it next year?
At this point, that's kind of what it looks like. All right. Now,
But if that's the case, does someone then go to Marner and say, "Hey, we'll have you play for us, and we'll give you the money because we have the cap"?
Well, no one's gonna offer sheet him until training camp because that's when that's their best chance to get.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is someone's going to offer sheet him? Probably, like, the offer sheet would probably
Someone's
have to
gonna
come
offer sheet
down
him like
in
10.
the next month and a half. Like towards the end of the next month and a half, the offer sheet would have to come down
before we move on to our next
before training camp.
Before we move on to our next trade, can we just deal with something right now?
Sure. What are we dealing with?
The other RFAs.
Which
Yeah,
ones?
those guys.
Which
Kyle
ones?
Connor and Patrick Laine yet to be signed, or like everybody.
Well, a lot of players are waiting for the market to develop.
Yeah, and the other ones just can't be offer sheet.
Like Charlie McAvoy can't be offer sheeted.
Neither can Brock Besser.
That kills their leverage.
Yeah.
Is they can't have another team come and say, "Hey, we're going to give you the money you think you're worth. If your team wants to keep you, they better do it." They're kind of at a standstill because they don't have the ability to be offer sheeted.
It's really weird, and the whole issue with it is that Laine, what the traditional hockey fan doesn't realize right now is that Brock Besser can't be offer sheeted.
That's true. Most people don't realize that.
So far can't be.
Laine can't be offer sheeted.
He can't.
It's that Mikko Rantanen cannot be offer sheeted. Matt Tkachuk, Braden Point, Kyle Connor, Travis Konechny, Charlie.
I mean, Connor was offered an offer sheet. He didn't accept it.
There are issues in which players cannot be offer sheeted, and that's the problem. Like, people don't get it. All right, let's move on to the next trade. A trade that I happen to really like for Ottawa. Artem Anisimov for Zach Smith. The cap hit is less, but the actual salary is more for Chicago, which means they have a little bit more wiggle room to sign Brendan Perlini, who is still not signed. And Ottawa needed to get to the cap floor, and I think Artem Anisimov is the better player than Zach Smith. They didn't have a spot for Anisimov in their top six. If you're looking at their top six and you're saying it's in no particular order, Kane, Taves, Saad, DeBrincat, Strome, and either Perlini, Kirby Dach, or Andrew Shaw. I'm not wrong, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Because Kirby Dach may make the team. He has looked very good in camp. He looked very, very good in rookie camp. For Ottawa, Anisimov slots in as their 2C or 3C. Probably playing with either Bobby Ryan or Connor Brown. It's an interesting situation in Ottawa. I think closer to the season, we're going to do a little preview of the entire league, splitting it up into couple episodes per conference, so that'll happen then. The last trade, and yes, we're skipping over St. Louis basically getting Dakota Joshua for free because he's nothing. Yeah. So the Milan Lucic James Neal thing, it happened.
It did.
And do you know the condition on the pick?
It's a
Yes.
dumb condition.
It is a
If James Neal scores 21 goals and Lucic scores 10 goals less.
or fewer goals than Neal. So that's if James Neal scores 21 goals and Milan Lucic scores 10, or James Neal scores 21 and Milan Lucic scores 20 or less. That's it. That's the condition.
So Lucic has to be within 10 goals of Neal
Yes.
for the pick to transfer.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very odd condition.
It's weird.
That's a weird.
It is.
It's a very weird one.
However, I think James Neal will succeed in Edmonton. I really like the fit there. He's gonna be.
Hell, he might play with McDavid.
He's probably gonna play with Connor McDavid. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
One thing I want to add real quick, just because I just wasn't sure. So in talking about RFAs, the RFAs that can sign offer sheets going into this, that could sign offer sheets going into this postseason: Mitch Marner, Braden Point, Brendan Carlo, Zach Werenski, Patrick Laine, Kyle Connor, Mikko Rantanen, and Matthew. Those were the only RFAs that can sign offer sheets.
Oh, okay. So it was the vice versa.
It's the Group 2
Yes.
RFAs.
Yes.
Yeah, which is essentially like the college players that signed like during the end.
So, anyways, but yes, James Neal, I think he is much more realistically capable of a bounce back / return to form season than Milan Lucic is at this point, and I think this was a pretty good trade for Edmonton at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'd say too.
All right. So got the trades out of the way. Let's move on to free agency. We recorded on the 10th. Let's start with some of the bigger moves on the 11th. Yoel Armia got 2.6 a year for 2 years. Arturi Lehkonen, 2.4 a year for 2 years. I think Armia got fair value. I think Lehkonen got a little overpaid, but that's just me. And then June 12th, Ryan Dzingel signed his contract at like 8 in the morning.
Why are we going back to June 12th?
Or July 12th. Never mind. July 12th, Ryan Dzingel signed his contract at like 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
And it is a very, very good contract.
Great value for Carolina. Great value.
The Binnington deal was interesting. I think that deal ended up becoming more of a bridge than anything else. Jakub Vrana and JT Compher. Those were two deals that really interested me. Because with Compher, I think the 4 years is a little concerning. I like the 3.5. I think the 4 years is a little concerning. Vrana, I don't know if I trust him. What are your thoughts on those?
I think Compher. I think Compher in the role that Compher is playing. I think that getting Colorado locking down Compher for 4 years was smart. In that Compher is kind of a middle six kind of guy mainly a third liner, but can jump up in case of injuries.
And he is
and
a penalty killer.
And he not only that, but he also just fits very well in Colorado in that system. I think it suits his play style pretty well. Vrana is, to me, very inconsistent. Shows flashes of brilliance, and then will go into like a massive slump. And personally, I think that it would have been smarter to keep Burakovsky and trade Vrana. That's just me.
That's what I
But-
think.
Washington, you're talking about.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, they traded Philip Forsberg for Martin Erat. Like, it's, they don't have the best trade history. But I think the Comfort deal is a better deal for both sides, whereas Vrana's deal for Washington is going to be one of those to watch where he very well, depending on Washington's success in the next couple of years, could be a trade chip I could see in 2 years.
Yeah.
Um,
I also think the Burakovsky deal is pretty solid for Colorado, 3.25
the Burakovsky.
for this year.
Now that we were on that topic, he got
3.25 for 1 year.
1 year, which is a very solid deal.
Yeah. It works.
Do you have any input on either of them?
On the other two, the Comfort and
Comfort, Burakovsky, or Vrana, because they can all be great.
I like the Burakovsky deal for Colorado. He'll be. I think he's going to break out in Colorado. He has it like he was underutilized in Washington. I think he'll have a chance to play second line minutes in Colorado, and that'll just the more ice time's going to help him out. And then with Vrana, that's a risky signing. I'm not a huge fan of Vrana, but it could end up being it could end up being a little bit of an overpayment for him if he doesn't pan out.
All right.
And the Comfort deal it's a solid deal for Colorado. He's a good middle sixer.
All right, Runs, what are your thoughts on the deals?
The Comfort deal, I honestly don't mind the deal. It seems like a good deal in the long run as the cap's going to keep going up. Burakovsky didn't mind either. Vrana, I do agree with Nick. He's getting paid a little bit too much for me just because he's been extremely consistent.
All right. And now, before we move on to the next topic, which is our second and final topic before final thoughts, we have two more contracts to break. 3 more, actually. We got Jacob Truba's question mark of a contract.
Oh boy.
Oscar Sundqvist deal. Actually, no. Trouba, Sundqvist, and McGinn can kind of be grouped into one. Neil Pionk, and then Colton Sissons.
Yeah, Colton Sissons is his own deal. That came down today. That was something.
Let's start with Trouba. Nick, as a Rangers Bruins hybrid fan, is Trouba worth $8 million?
I think that. So when I first saw this deal, I was very, very apprehensive. I think that $8 million is. I mean, obviously, $8 million is a lot. He's the highest paid defenseman by, I think at least like $2.5 million. He's almost up there with Lundqvist's salary. He's the third highest paid player on the team at this point. It's
behind Henrik and Panarin, right?
correct, yeah. He's the third highest paid player behind Lundqvist, and then Panarin is the highest on the team. Jacob Trouba, obviously he's been good in Winnipeg. He's a righty, and I feel like he was always stuck behind Byfuglien. Regardless of, utilization and everything, I don't know, how to quantify this, but I feel like if Trouba can, now that Trouba will be a true number one defenseman on a team, if he can have a season like a true number one defenseman on the team, he's only 25 years old, and if he can consistently perform as a number one defenseman, I think $8 million will be fine. And as we mentioned, the cap will continue to go up, whether it be marginally or in bigger steps in the next coming few years.
I think in 2 years the cap takes a pretty substantial leap up with Seattle coming in.
And that will
exactly
also be right after the lockout.
If there's a lockout.
If there's a lockout, yes. But
when the
I think that the Trouba deal will be, again, it's one of those that we're going to have to watch because it has the potential to be an astronomically horrible deal. It just does, and I really hope that is not the case. But at the end of the day, Jeff Gorton turned Neil Pionk, who we will talk about in a minute, who was a rookie defenseman, into Jacob Trouba, who's 25 years old and has the potential to be the number one defenseman on this team for the next 7 years. I'm sorry, 7 years is his contract. So,
and if anything, he'll probably be signed longer than that. So, all right, Renz, what are your thoughts
on the Trouba deal?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's not really much else for me to say. He got paid. The only thing I could say here is thank God this is over. Like, I could finally not hear about Trouba signing for how much money and how much that for years. I'm just happy it's over.
That is true. Andrew, would you happen to agree with everybody else?
This is my thoughts. I think it's an overpay. Because if you look at his numbers, yes, he's going to have the chance to be a number one defenseman. I just don't think Trouba's that good. He's 25. He's still rather young, but he's right in the middle of his prime. He's getting paid through his prime years, so he'll be 32 at the end of this deal. And this, I think, could be the worst contract of this offseason if he doesn't perform to what clearly the Rangers believe to be a number one defenseman.
Worse than Brandon Tanev?
Or worse than Simmons. Nice transition.
I think it's just worse because of the amount of money he's making and just because of the amount of money he's making over the term.
Talking about a term, so the Nashville Predators settled Colton Sisson's deal before the arbitrator got to it. 7 years, $20 million total. Nashville, I understand that you signed
Calle
Yarncroke to the same type of deal, but come on. Calle Yarncroke's deal didn't work. Colton Sissons may work, but
neither of the deals is going to work.
It will work. Colton Sissons is a good player.
I think you guys are forgetting that David Poile loves signing long-term contracts to everybody.
There are 5 skaters on Nashville that are only signed for this year. 5 forwards.
Gramling, Craig Smith, Austin Watson, who won't be back based on his past history, Mika Salamaki,
and Frederick Gaudreau.
And then on the defensive side, Dan Hamhuis will be gone. Yannick Weber, probably gone. Matt Irwin, probably gone.
And Roman Yossi, who they're working on an extension with. Everyone else has at least 2 years. The only guy with 2 years is Nick Bonino.
Oh my god, that contract is so bad.
Yarncroke has 3, Forsberg has 3, Turris has 5, Johansson has 6, Sissons has 7, Duchesne has 7? Ellis has
7.
Ryan Ellis has 8, Matthias Ekholm has 3. And then both their goalies are signed for 2 years.
Everyone else is inked that's not named Roman Yossi.
Yeah, everyone else is signed to long-term deals. Nashville's core is not changing all that much.
It won't change for at least half a decade.
Yeah. And they aren't going to be good. Like, they're going to be competitive. They aren't going to be... I don't think they're going to be cup contenders because Rene's 36.
They might be the Minnesota one.
Yeah. That's what they're becoming.
They might be the new Minnesota.
Ellis is signed until he's 36.
Oh, boy.
Johansson is signed until he's 33. Duchesne's signed until he's 35. Forsberg will be 27 at the end of his deal. Turris will be 34. Arvidsson will be 31. Bonino's going to be 33. Colton Sissons is going to be 32. And Calle Yarncroke's going to be 30 when his deal expires. This team is not going to get any younger.
Yeah, which is why for like the next few years, they're always going to trade their first for a rent.
Yeah, because that's all they can do.
Yeah.
All right, and then we've got like Andrew Kopp, decent deal. Neil Pionk, $3 million a year. That's a little something. McGinn and Sundqvist got about the same contract. 2.1 for 2 years for McGinn. 2 3/4 for 4 for Sundqvist. Sundqvist contract, the term's a little confusing, but other than that,
Scott Lawton got 2 years, 4.6 total, 2.3.
Yeah.
Solid deal. Ryan Donato, 2 years, 1.9 AAV.
And
Teddy Bluger, 2 years, 1.5 total.
Aston Reese got 2 years, $2 million total also. All right.
Yeah.
So before we move on to the wonderful world of Baseball, can we just say that Nashville Predators fans are kind of ridiculous right now? Have you heard about the story that the Nashville Predators fan base wants to name their new scoreboard at the arena Jeff?
What?
Naming a scoreboard, that's
They apparently have this... They had this whole motive going for like... So apparently the Nashville Predators put out on Twitter something about if the fans wanted to name their Jumbotron a Predzi name. But then
And they went with Jeff.
I vote Jeff. And now this is a thing.
I'll be in Nashville in November. I'll talk some sense into them.
Good.
Yeah, we're gonna need that.
All right. So, Baseball. This thing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
The sport that is going on right now. That the actual all of America roots for. Sorry, Andrew. We kind of have to admit it. Soccer's not big here.
It's not, but it should be.
Zlatan is a god.
I should say that.
Zlatan is a god. He can talk
About that in final thoughts, but
he can
for now,
talk all the trashy ones and still go off.
you know, he's just a Ferrari and a pile of Fiats.
Speaking of baseball, Roman fucking Quinn just hit a home run.
Because baseball.
Off of Matthew Boyd, nonetheless.
Matthew Boyd has been awful in his last 2 starts.
Yeah. Transitioning to MLB trade deadline, Matthew Boyd.
All right.
Does he get moved?
So there's this person on Twitter. His name is John Becker. And this offseason, he started this thing called the MLB Matrixy, and it was the offseason Matrixy. So what he had was this key where it was like where a team like wanted them, had interest in them, interested but likely. So right now, he has one going for the 2019 season for the trades. And he has all the trades so far of like actual players that have been listed. But other than that, now he's got a list of players who have been drawing interest from teams or players that the teams have been focused on trading. So let's start with the sellers first, and then we'll move on to the buyers. Let's start with Baltimore's one trade piece. Michael Givens.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's it. Unless you trade Trey Mancini. Or
They're not trading.
Or Dylan Bundy. But that's about
it. Who would take Bundy?
Those are the 3.
Because they traded everybody last year. Except for Adam Jones. Because they could have gotten something for Jones and didn't move him. You did get Jonathan VR for Jonathan Scope, though. That was a decent package.
Yep.
All right. So now moving on to the other AL East team that sucks.
The Toronto Blue Jays.
Who had 3 players, I think, that could get traded.
Marcus Stroman.
And who's the last one?
Marcus Stroman, Ken Giles, and Eric Sogard. Because if you have not been following Eric Sogard's season, and oh man,
Sogard's been good.
Yeah,
304, 10 home runs, 30 RBIs, 6 stolen bases.
That's pretty darn good.
He played this year for the Blue Jays so far. DH, second base, third base, left field, right field, and shortstop.
He's played almost every.
Those are the positions he's always had experience in. He recently started playing the outfield with Milwaukee in 2017, but other than that, he was always second, third, short DH with Oakland. All right, Yankees just took a 2-0 lead. Who had a hit? 2-run double by Gregorius. All right. So, those 3 guys definitely will move. Stroman, definitely. Giles and Sogard, most likely. And then you've got, like, these other players who, like, may move, but probably not. Like, Galvis, Daniel Hudson, like, who else would be in that group? Justin Smoke, who's just been an atrocity at the plate this year.
Could get moved, but probably won't get anything for him.
That's about it. Then move on to the Central. Trevor Bauer, there's been increased skepticism that he may get moved at the deadline.
He's not going to get moved.
He won't.
Cleveland's 2 up on the wild card. He's not going to get moved.
I don't know. Yeah. This may be the time where they got the most for him, and I don't know if he'll be back because they do need to re-sign Bauer, Kluber, and Lindor in the span of 2 years.
I still don't think he gets moved. They're too much. They're committed to being a good team. They're committed to winning, and I don't think they can win if they trade Bauer. I don't think they have the firepower at pitching.
I think
Especially
they
when Kluber's been out the whole
teams
year.
that are like buyers/sellers. Then continuing in the NL Central, the Tigers have got assets. Matt Boyd also increased skepticism, but apparently they need to be overwhelmed with a Quintana-like package. And basically, you're asking for Eloy Jimenez and Dylan Cease. Good luck.
You're going to need someone very, very desperate, but that would be Milwaukee, but I don't think they'd do that.
Nicholas Castellanos seems likely he's going to get moved. Teams like Tampa, I know Philly and Chicago have garnered interest in him also.
In Castellanos, or
Castellanos.
I don't think the Phillies would be too interested.
The Phillies have been interested in literally everything that the Tigers.
That's very true, because I think they did explore a trade package for Shane Green and Matthew Boyd at some point.
Continuing with Detroit, Daniel Norris and Shane Green also in that trade likelihood of unknown, like Michael Givens. Daniel Norris probably won't take as much as Shane Green, but apparently the Nationals wanted to try and ask for Shane Green, and Detroit asked for some guy named Carter Kaboom. So no, please, thank you. Washington, please keep Carter Kaboom, like, now. Do you guys think Shane Green is worth that much?
No.
No, not a chance.
Absolutely not.
All right.
They're asking way too much.
And then we've got Jake Diekman, who's literally one of the Royals' only assets. The team is focused on moving him, and the Phillies have been interested in a reunion possibly with Diekman.
Diekman or Giles, for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Phillies need bullpen help.
Also, not listed here, but potential trade assets for them. Lucas Duda, who's been really, 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 really bad. Like, historically bad. And, noted Royals pretty decent closer Ian Kennedy. But you know what a team would have to get from Kansas City to get that contract. Lots of money.
Yeah.
And Kansas City doesn't have that.
And that's about Kansas City's only trade asset at this point, because they stated earlier in the season they're not looking to move Whit Merrifield. So
really their only piece that they could move is Diekman. I mean, there is some speculation that they may be looking to move Billy Hamilton, but I mean, he's nothing special at this point. In the AL West, Mike Leake, Mariners want to trade him. However, he has a full no trade clause. If the team decides to sell, Hunter Pence may be on the move, and the Rays would be interested.
I do not want Hunter Pence to be traded.
The Rays
would be
interest in him.
horrible.
And Mike Minor, which is increasingly likely. He has
not Mike Morin. Mike Minor.
Yep. There is a no trade clause. There's a 10-team no trade clause, which the Yankees are on, but the Yankees have had interest in him. But it could be also the same philosophy as Bumgarner, the leverage point. Then we move into the NL sellers. We got the Mets, who...
Yeah, the Mets are going to sell.
They're going to sell.
More than likely.
Zach Wheeler, they pretty much have to trade, but he has to be healthy to do it. So Friday, he's going to start. We'll see how he pitches. Noah Syndergaard, they need to be overwhelmed, but probably they won't trade him. And then you've got pieces along the lines of Ramos, who apparently has garnered no interest, like at all. Todd Frazier, Jason Vargas, and even going as far as maybe throwing some guy named Edwin Diaz's name into the hat if the package is worth it. But then we get to the NL Central, which is very interesting because
Is anybody going to sell?
even though the Pirates are 6 out, they want to trade Corey Dickerson. Melky Cabrera is drawing interest from contenders. And the Dodgers have been interested in Felipe Vasquez, but I highly doubt the Dodgers want to give up Gavin Lux and Keibert Ruiz. Do you agree with me there?
Yeah, the Dodgers would be dumb to do that. He's not worth high end prospects like that. One team I think will be interesting to keep your eye on is Cincinnati, because so they're last in the NL Central. They're 6.5 games back from the wild card, and as has been stated before, the Mets are the farthest team back of the wild card, and they're 7 games back. The NL is still kind of wide open for anybody not named Miami. Cincinnati, I think because I've been watching a fair bit of Cincinnati's games recently, I think that Cincinnati is one decent bat and one solid relief pitcher / closer, because Raisel Iglesias, while he has 17 saves on the season, has been pretty shaky in his past couple of appearances. However, they're getting
Nick Castellanos and Shane Green. Done. You fixed your entire team.
right, but also they might not even need to go out and trade for a bullpen arm, as they're getting Amir Garrett back here in the next week or so.
So if you just want to go after a bat, who'd be an interesting option if the D-backs may end up trading him? David Peralta.
Right. So I
hard to
just
see
think that the
Diamondbacks
NL
selling.
is. Well, I think that this year the NL is going to be the you're going to have to watch the NL, because so many teams are still in it that it's going to be very interesting what they decide to end up doing.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a very interesting deadline to watch, especially in the NL, because of all the teams that are in contention. The NL could, if teams decide to sell that are only 5 games out, they're saying that's too much ground to make up. We can't do it. Which to certain fan bases might rub them the wrong way.
Also, I want to point out that of teams not in a playoff spot in the NL currently,
Arizona and Cincinnati have positive run differentials.
correct. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Milwaukee and Pittsburgh both are negative in the run differential, and they are ahead of Cincinnati in the standing.
As are the Phillies, who are also a negative run differential.
Yeah. So I just think the NL is going to be super interesting to watch, just because of how many teams. I feel like a lot of teams still feel like they're right there on the bubble of just being in. So I think that the NL a lot of NL teams are going to be looking to buy, which is going to be weird, because who gets who is going to be
teams
what really is.
Want to do that buy sell thing, like they trade their.
Could you also maybe see need for need at the MLB level swaps between some of these NL teams, maybe?
For example,
Like, say Arizona trades. Does Arizona need bullpen help?
Greg Holland is not great.
So
All they have is Archie Bradley there. That's it.
So Felipe Vasquez for David Peralta between Arizona and Pittsburgh.
Now, what my thought is here is that with Cincinnati, who thinks they can make the playoffs,
Hey, Sonny Gray has been lights out this past couple starts. That's all I'll say.
He's been good.
with a team like Cincinnati, I think Tanner Roark may be on the move, and I think Alex Wood may be on the move. Alex Wood, whenever he gets healthy. And I
I was
think
about to say, they're not going to move Alex Wood until teams actually get to see him.
Yasiel Puig also may be on the move because they're all players that may be like just that rental piece that like say the Diamondbacks think they're still in it and they think that they need that one more arm. And
I just don't.
say they think Tim LeCastro is the solution in left field, which for now he has been. LeCastro has been very, very good. Maybe do Roark and a prospect, or like Roark and Puig for Peralta and Greg Holland.
I just don't see Cincy selling. I don't. They're in it, and again, like we've said for a lot of these NL teams, they're still in it, and I think a lot of them still believe that they can make it. And I think that. So with Cincy, if they make the playoffs, they've got a pretty solid 1-2-3 with Castillo, Gray, and Roark, which I think could get them through at least one round. But again, I think it's the bats that are their biggest issue right now. Ever since coming back from his injury, Scooter Gennett has not looked good. They need him to turn it on. But I think that I mean, that could be the solution, is getting Scooter Gennett right.
With the issue with Cincinnati is, they've got the pitching. Not only Castillo, Gray, and Roark, Anthony DeSclafani has had a very good season. And in the back of the pen, Iglesias hasn't been fantastic. Lorenzen hasn't looked great. Amir Garrett's been pretty good. Jared Hughes has been okay lately. Robert Stevenson is just a long man at this point, and Wandy Peralta has been okay. Sal Romano just got called back up, so you can't really gauge him. And then you're also missing Tyler Mahle and David Hernandez, who both recently went on the injured list. On the offensive side of things, Jesse Winker having a very good season. Joey Votto bouncing back a little bit. Suarez has been good. Senzel has been decent. Jose Iglesias has been insane. He basically took a spot from Jose Peraza, and he has basically been platooning with Gennett and Iglesias, which is scary, but true. And you're missing all three of your catchers right now. Tucker Barnhart, Kirk Casale, and Kyle Farmer are all on the injured list. Barnhart with a strained oblique, Casale with a sprained knee, and Farmer with a concussion. So, we'll see what happens there. Then we got two of the bigger question marks in the sport. The Diamondbacks and the Giants. But first off, San Diego's buying. Kirby Yates is unlikely to get traded. They want like an unforeseen haul from him. I don't even want to know how much they want for him. Arizona, their assets are really limited. Greinke, really, it's the financially unstable thing. Also, he has the no trade clause, I think. Robbie Ray, teams have been interested in him, but still. David Peralta, Jared Dyson. Dyson would probably just be a pinch run defensive guy. Peralta, still a good hitter. The San Francisco Giants, though. Renz, do you have your opinion on what the Giants should do, buy or sell?
What they should do is sell, but what they're going to do is do nothing and go.
They're just going to go for it, I feel.
They're in a hot streak, and yes, I know they can cool down, but I just don't think I just don't think they're going to sell. I just can't see it at this rate.
I think
As much
Tony
as I think
Watson
they should.
goes.
Oh well, yeah, he might be the only person I can.
I think Tony Watson and Will Smith both go. Zach Greinke or Madison Bumgarner stays.
I do think they'll listen on Sam Dyson. I think Dyson will stay also because I think Maronta and Dyson will start taking over with Melanson in the back end of the pen because Will Smith will definitely get you a good haul, and Tony Watson, everybody could use a loogie.
Yeah.
And also, what people haven't realized though is that Tony Watson and Sam Dyson have been two of the better non-closers in the game of baseball this year. Because you're looking, Watson has a 2.88 ERA, 1.082 WHIP, and his FIP is a 4.25, so that's a little high, but that's okay. Sam Dyson, 2.57 ERA, 2.71 WHIP, and a .918, or a 2.71 FIP and a .918 WHIP. Maronta's been okay. Will Smith, obviously, having one of the best closer seasons of recent day, 2.55 ERA, 24 saves, 36 games finished. His FIP is down. His WHIP is down there. He's only allowing 6 hits per 9. 13.4 Ks per 9 as a closer. That's like Jordan Hicks or Aldis Chapman up there. We haven't seen many of that in recent memory. So the Giants will be an interesting case. Their offense has been decent. I'll say that much. Because the only issues I think right now on their offense is that they still want to play Tyler Alston and he's hitting 180. But that's it. Mike Yastrzemski has had a very good season. He's been breaking out, and I really like. He's no longer just Carl's grandson. He's a major league baseball player. Do you guys agree with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, after I saw the Giants series, yeah, he's been good.
From the limited Giants games that I've watched, it's only been a few this season. He's played pretty well. I just think that their offense can't sustain this. They have a very good reliever core, as you mentioned, but I just think that their offense has been on a big hot streak, but I think that I don't see them being able to sustain it.
All right. So now let's talk about the buyers, and then next podcast we'll probably do a little bit more depth into like our actual like trade predictions and where players will go.
Yeah.
In the American League, it's the Yankees are going to be buyers, the Rays, the Red Sox, Twins, Cleveland maybe will be a retooler, Houston, Oakland, Angels maybe a retooler. So overall, it's about half the league. Angels are going to be an interesting case because they want
Mike Trout.
playoffs. They really do want to make the playoffs, but they don't want to get rid of Joe Adell or Jahmai Jones. So we'll see what happens. Tampa's an interesting situation because Their prospect core is very, very good. So the question is, who's gone? Because you ain't trading Franco, you ain't trading McKay. Jesus Sanchez maybe for a long-term asset. Matthew Liberatore probably not. Shane Baz maybe. Nate Lowe probably not. Lucius Fox maybe. Colin Pache maybe. He's been good coming out of the pen. As of recent, he's been bad overall.
One thing I want to say about the Rays real quick is that for everybody's sake, please keep all three lows on the team. I know Brandon Lau is pronounced Lau, but then they can just have first, second, and third base all with the same last name. It would be awesome.
And then Josh Lowe, who will be up soon.
Exactly. It would just be great. It would be phenomenal.
Yeah,
it would be an
it'll be
infield
amazing.
full of lows.
A low
The
infield.
memes.
They're going to
The
have a
memes
low
would be
infield.
glorious.
And Wander Franco. And then the NL, again, we said it, pure question mark.
Pretty much everybody except Miami's could be buying.
Atlanta's going to buy. Washington's interesting. Philly's going to buy. Chicago's going to
Yeah, I would think the Phillies would buy, but I think they could be a retool of sorts.
Who do you think would go?
I mean, it's probably going to be prospects, so it technically then would be buying, but they're a weird team.
The Cubs will be buyers. Cardinals will probably buy. Milwaukee will buy. Cincy's probably going to buy. Pittsburgh may retool. Dodgers are going to buy. Dodgers are going to buy bullpen, and more bullpen.
Yeah, that's about it.
Arizona's probably going to retool, if anything.
San Francisco will be a retool.
San Francisco will be a retool, and Colorado may be a retool. San Diego's going to buy. Like, legit. San Diego is going for it.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. At all. I like the Padres. I think they've got a good team. I think that it's a little bit of a questionable way on how they're going to run the team. I do think Hunter Renfroe or Franmil Reyes should get traded. Probably Renfroe. Because if you really want to play Will Myers that bad, which they do, can't really do much but trade an outfielder.
And you can't trade the Franimal.
And
no, you can't. You can't trade Franmil Reyes.
Trade Margot either because he's just a defensive wizard. All right. More MLB trade deadline predictions in our next episode, which will be at some point before the 31st. Final thoughts. I'm going to start this week. I've got a mix of stuff. First up, who's ready to listen to Mark Sanchez talk about college football every weekend?
Oh, boy. That'll be interesting.
Mark Sanchez has officially announced his retirement from the National Football League. I will continue to say this. He is the only quarterback to beat, I think it's Peyton Manning and Tom Brady at home during the AFC playoffs.
He beat both of them in the playoffs.
And then that thing happened. And yes, Jets fans laugh about the butt fumble. But it's the end of the butt fumble and the beginning of the double doink era.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's wonderful to be on the other side of the double doink.
What?
It's wonderful to be on the other side of the double doink. As an Eagles fan.
I wish I was on the other side of the butt fumble, but we couldn't do that because we were playing Tom Brady.
And you had the Sanchez at quarterback, so of course.
To be fair, he was playing pretty well until the butt fumble, which basically ruined.
Fair enough.
Very true.
Second thing, Michael Talkman is a god amongst men right now. Since getting recalled from AAA, he's hitting like 460, which is really funny. Third thing, Cardinals DFA Chase Shreve today. Good thing Giovanni Gallegos is like a 2.6 ERA this year, because if he didn't have a 2.6 ERA, boy, oh boy, would Yankees fans be absolutely slaying the comments in Cardinals. Oh, wait, we still are. Thanks, John Mozeliak, for Louis Linwood Voigt III. Thinking anything else? Atlantic League is using ABS for the rest of the season, which will be interesting. We'll see the accuracy change in the real umps to the ABS system, which stands for automatic balls and strikes. And then my last thought is, it is very funny how John Tavares is continuously saying that he is still salty and pissed off that he lost to the Bruins. Well, welcome to Toronto, John. You will be losing to the Bruins a lot. Like, too much. And also, Tyson Berry wearing number 94 is very interesting. Rens, final thoughts?
Let me think of one. I really didn't prepare for final thoughts.
I'll go.
Yeah, I guess.
All right, and
Yeah, okay.
final thoughts.
We'll start in the MLS with Zlatan is a god.
God amongst men.
Carlos Vela comes out and says Zlatan's not the best player in MLS. Zlatan outscores Vela 3-2 in El Tráfico and scores a couple of wonder goals. Then on Saturday, the Union get a 2-0 win over Chicago, I believe. Yeah, they beat Chicago 2-0 at home. Nothing too interesting from that game. But then, controversy from a local convenience store to me that is very near and dear to my heart. Wawa has betrayed Philadelphia and become the official hoagie of the Baltimore Ravens.
Boo!
Really? The Ravens?
Yes, the Ravens.
As we approach the historic milestone of our 50th anniversary in Maryland, Wawa is thrilled to partner with the Ravens to make deeper connections with some of the best fans in football and reach communities all over the city of Baltimore and beyond.
Could be worse. Could be the Reds.
No! The Ravens are inferior. A Raven is inferior to the Eagle in every possible way.
Well, yeah, when we're talking about birds, Eagles are the best ones.
Yes, and for a Philadelphia local company as big as Wawa to partner with a team that's not the Eagles is a massive, massive betrayal to the city. Wawa,
So I'm guessing you're not going to go to Wawa anytime soon?
No, I will, because Wawa is life. Wawa
I don't blame you.
is very good quality convenience store food.
I don't blame you. That's the only thing I keep hearing from South Jersey.
All right, is that it?
And then Roman Quinn today hit a 434-foot bomb that left his bat at almost 106 miles an hour.
That's hard.
Roman Quinn, guy who can't stay healthy, only known for his speed. 434-foot bomb.
All right, Renz, I'll start you off. Robbie Cano had a second decker, so
I know. Okay, let's just go with the Mets. Vargas, I know you're not going to pitch a complete game, but Vargas, what are you doing? Why do you? Come on, it's the Mets. You're supposed to beat us so we can sell. Come on, don't screw our plans. God damn it! Don't let us sweep you. And two, please just sell. Just sell. I don't want to see this team go on fire. That's not what you need to do. Let's see. All right, what else can I go here? The Jets. Why isn't Quinton Williams signed yet?
Because Daniel Jones only signed yesterday.
That is very true.
I have an answer. Because the Jets are dumb.
That is a very smart question. I understand that it might take a while to sign a rookie contract, but really this long? I know Sam Darnold's took long. Like, come on. What? I just want to know what's taking so long. That's it.
Oh no!
When does training camp open for the Jets?
Yesterday.
Yesterday?
Or a few days ago. I know it opened.
What?
Training camp for the Jets.
I'll say this right now, Renz.
Yeah.
First practice is Thursday.
The reason why Quentin is not signed yet is because the Jets want to defer some of his signing bonus money to year 2, when the majority of contracts have the signing bonus in full year 1.
That does sound about right.
But you've got Joe Douglas now.
Yeah, Joe Douglas wants to do that.
Joe Douglas will make everything work.
Yes, he will. He is our Lord and Savior.
Everything he touched here worked pretty well in Philly.
And he will also solve our backup quarterback situation because he has 3 rings, 2 of which were won with backups.
That's true. That's really much it.
It is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, is that it for your final thoughts?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, Nick.
All right, so first, I will start off with a little bit of an NFL opinion. Chargers, pay Melvin Gordon, please. I enjoy watching him play football, and I need him for fantasy. Second, the Red Sox activated Nathan Eovaldi. Didn't have the greatest outing the other night, but it was promising. I mean, his velocity is right where it left off. He's hurling 99 pretty consistently. Control obviously looked a little bit off, but again, he's coming back from surgery, so it's to be expected. Whether he stays in the bullpen, I think that's probably the plan, just because this is at least his second surgery that he's had on his arm. I'm not sure if it's only his second or it might be his third.
Much more than second.
Much more.
Okay,
yeah,
so he's had more. So I don't think that they want to strain his arm any more than they need to, and I think that he could be a good relief pitcher. I think he just needs to get comfortable to the role. But I'm okay with that. I mean, like I said, he looked a little bit shaky, but that's to be expected when coming off the IL. Heard rumors that they're in on either Yates or Giles.
Have fun paying the moon and back for Kirby Yates.
That's my one apprehension, and my second is if we've just activated Eovaldi and the plan is for him to be a closer, which is what was stated, then why are we going after closers. But that's, that's neither here nor there. That's not my decision to make. What will be very interesting to see is how the Red Sox handle their infield going forward. Sam Travis has been swinging a pretty hot bat. Mitch Moreland is back in the lineup as of today.
Wait, Mitch Moreland is healthy?
Mitch Moreland is back in the lineup. Mitch Moreland is back at first base.
How long has he been out?
What?
How long has he been out?
Since before the All-Star break.
Oh, I thought he was out all year.
No,
I'm really out of it.
He was on fire to start the year, and then he went on the IL.
He played June 7th, and before that he played May 25th.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds about right.
He spent a 10-day stint, and then another 10-day stint, and then this stint.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see because Brock Holt has been too good to not have in the lineup. And that means that today Michael Chavis is sitting, as well as Sam Travis, who, again, has been playing very well. So managing this infield is going to be interesting. I think that, Chavis was kind of up and down these past couple weeks. He wasn't doing as well as he was earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Brock Holt leads the major leagues in average since he was reinstated from the IL with a 387. It's going to be an interesting rest of the year for the Red Sox. They need to start winning lots of games and lots of games quickly. They started off the series that they're currently in Tampa Bay the other night with a 9-4 victory. So we'll see. Chris Sale seems to be back to what Chris Sale could do, but then again, we've said that a couple times this season. So,
Nick, just for your sake, Martinez on first, Benintendi up, 2 outs, and Colin Pache's up now. Yanni Chirico.
I'm watching the game.
And Renz, you're beating the Padres 3-0 now. And Robert
Cano's
has 2 home runs.
Yeah, Cano's 3 for 3 with 2 home runs.
And both off of Chris Paddock.
Yeah.
All right. And Nick, with the Yankees, he experienced elbow inflammations in 15, and in 16, tore his flexor tendon and partially tore his UCL in that elbow. In 2018, he had to deal with loose bodies in that elbow. And then last year, that was last year. And now this year, more loose bodies. So that elbow has been dealing with a lot of fun and games recently.
Right, which is why I think he's probably better suited for the bullpen at this point in his career.
And before I close it out, Tyler Wade, Tyro Estrada, Clint Frazier, and Cameron Maben have all hit home runs tonight for Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Please trade Clint Frazier for a non-rental starting pitcher, Yankees. Please do it.
I keep hearing Wheeler for Frazier, and I just don't get it.
Not a chance.
If that happens, I just don't know what the hell I'm thinking.
That is it for episode 18, as stuff happened and we covered it. Next time, it'll probably be the 4 of us. Maybe Alex will be here. But other than that, next time we will record, it will be our legit trade deadline preview. And after that, we're back up and running with football and hockey.